Indicators and Elliott wave. Indicators are one of the most commonly used tools of technical analysts. To make the definition as simple as possible, an indicator is a mathematical calculation based on the price movements or volume of the currency pair. So similar to patterns, this is just a case of pure mathematics. Elliott wave patterns can be confirmed with any oscillator indicator. When we see the development of waves 3 and 5, any oscillator will start to lose momentum and we can expect divergence to appear. The two most commonly used indicators among Elliott wave analysts are RSI and MACD. It's really important not to trust indicators too much. They are helpful, but look at them more as a tool that will help you to filter your trades. We need to learn how to spot a classic divergence on the RSI or MACD indicator. The method for doing so is going to be similar for both indicators. Divergence is simply a disagreement between price and indicator movements. Example of a divergence in an upward trend. Price action made two highs where the second high ended higher than the first. And on the indicator, we will see a high and a lower high. We check over here, we can see the Euro Aussie trading where? Trading in the uptrend, and we see the two highs on the price movement, but on the indicator, we can see a high and a lower high. This is a classic example of a divergence that we can spot on the RSI. Here is how that looks on the MACD. We see two highs developing on the Canadian dollar yen, while on the indicator we can see a high and a lower high. And keep in mind, I'm watching the divergence on the moving averages from the MACD. Example of divergence spotted in a downward trend. Price action made two lows, where the second low ended lower than the first, and on the indicator we see a low and higher low. Here is an example of that. For the RSI, we can see that Euro Aussie is pushing lower, and we see the two lows, where second low is lower than the first. After that, on the RSI, we can see the low, but the second low is the higher low. And that's why we can call this a divergence. And the MACD, the process is going to be simple. If we start looking from the left, we have over here even two divergences. From left, we have the low and the lower low. On the price action, on the indicator, we can see a low and a higher low. After that, following to July 9, we can see the low and the lower low after that. And on the MACD, we can see a low and a higher low. Now, let's determine how we can use this to our advantage. In a multi-phase, there should always be a divergence between waves 3 and 5. Only in the event that we have an extended wave pattern, divergence should start developing from wave 3 of 3 and it will develop until the end of wave 5. Within correction, you can only spot divergence in subwaves of the waves that have a motive pattern within. Here is the pound dollar, where we can see a low and a lower low developing, and RSI is doing the low and the higher low. So that tells me that this is some sort of a divergence. But since divergence starts a little bit soon, I think it's going to be better to fit some sort of extended wave. And if you can check, from the top to the bottom we have 9 waves, and that's why we label this as extended wave. Here's the Euro Aussie. We can see divergence because we made a high and a higher high on the price action at the tops, and RSI made a high and a lower high. So let's see how much waves we can put over here. We can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know that the end of divergence will always be the wave 5. The lowest point between the start of divergence and end of divergence will usually be the wave 4, and in reality you only need to find the wave 1 and 2 and check 5 wave moves in the wave 3. Here is an example, and in this example we are going to use the MACD. Price is moving higher and we have a high and a higher high on the price action, while on the MACD we have the high and the lower high. So classic divergence developed in the bullish trend. So looking like this is nice 5-wave move, and all rules were met. Wave 3 is the longest wave, wave 2 hold it above the starting point of the wave 1, and the wave 4 hold it above the territory of the wave 2. And the best of all is that you can see 5-wave moves inside each leg.